Welcome back. Time to get the PIR sensor fitted into its lovely enclosure. Look at that. What a joy to behold. There's the PIR sensor, and I bought them from the pie shop this time because when I was building the scribulator, 3 of them didn't work properly. You know, you put it all together, assemble it all, get it looking nice. This bit, in fact, it's quite a big job getting all that assembled and everything else, and it doesn't work, and you can't work out why, and you think it might be the code. 3 times, 3 of these I put in because I bought them obviously from eBay or some other rubbishy place, whereas these from a reputable supplier hopefully will work. They look identical. There's absolutely no difference at all in the appearance. I've kept the other ones, but they're just very strange. They're lovely little things, these, though. Plus 5 volts, I think it's between 3 and 12 volts actually they can accept, because I've got a little voltage regulator and an output. Just those 3 connections, and you can decide with a little pulling up thing whether it's re-triggerable or whether it waits a certain time before resetting. And there's a sensitivity and time delay on it, so how long it stays on once it's received movement or seen movement. And you've gone and done it now. I'm going to witter on about this because they are really remarkable things. This creamy sort of dome has been moulded with a load of Fresnel lenses inside, and underneath, if you pull this off, there's the magic eye, sort of. Well, it isn't. It's a very, very sensitive infrared detector, and it's at the focal point of all these lovely little Fresnel lenses. So what it is in effect is like a backwards mirror ball. So rather than shining light out from that one point through all these so it sparkles all around the room, it's actually looking for changes in all these little points all around the room. And if it sees one of these points getting hotter and then colder in effect with infrared, it then knows there's been movement. Very, very clever, really effective. Isn't that a lovely looking thing? Most exciting. I've stuck with that design since I first designed the Barometric Prognosticator 3. There's the original one, and there's the original one of them. Still working perfectly. And here it is on the first Chronological Engine. Now I'm going to move on to make this, the thing that adjusts stuff. So you see it's really nice, spinny, and actually does something which is great. And I've just undone this bit to take it apart. There's the gate that slides up and down in a V-shaped slot inside. And when they make these, they cover them in some sort of hideous, well, it's not hideous, I suppose, silicone grease that gets all over everything. Plastered with the stuff it is. So I'm going to clean it all up with isopropyl alcohol first. Now I need to get this bit out because I need to cut it shorter and turn it down a bit. What I was doing with previous ones where they'd actually manufacture them by crimping over a piece all around the inside was to use one of these without the drill in the middle on the lathe. What's that? That's 16mm, 5/8 or whatever, to drill out the flange, and then this would come out. But with these ones that I've been getting recently, there's actually a nut with 2 slots. I've just wasted half an hour making a tool to do this and then realised that a pair of pliers fits perfectly and it just undoes, which is lovely. There's an encoder. It's nice because it's got a hollow spindle in the middle. These ones I get them from RS 6234186 if anyone's interested. So, and luckily I've got plans which I hope are correct. I seem to have lots of plans actually with all different sizes several times on one page. I've got a feeling this is the right one. There we are, so that pushes in there and that sits on these 2 funny little shaped pieces of plastic, and that sits in there. And the great thing is it doesn't take up very much room, so you've still got room for wires or pipes or whatever else you want. Right, battery's about to go flat, dog wants to be taken out, so see you in a minute. And here we have it. Look at that. Round and round and round and round it goes. Loads of room still up the middle for other bits and pieces. The 3 wires coming out, I've just wrapped them in some of this protective spiral sleeve just to make sure there's no rough edges in there. It's lovely. It's even got a red bit because you know that I love including red details in my machines. Just holds them visually together, makes them more sort of visually balanced without wanting to get too pretentious. And this is perfect. Lovely shiny red. Brilliant. Now, this has been off all night because I really wanted to check whether I had solved the problem with the real-time clock and whether overnight it has continued to run, change the day, date, month, well not month, but all the rest of it. Let's switch it on. Duh, duh, duh. It is Wednesday, it is the 22nd, and it is June. I can't tell you how pleased I am about that, because it's one of those problems that I just could not figure out. I checked the wiring, I checked the software, it just all seemed to work, except it didn't, and just such a stupid thing. Stupid. Well, I'm going to put a comment about that in the comments. And this beautiful bit, what a joy. And the great thing about having that hole in the base is I can fix and mount all these lovely bits onto the baseboard, which would be an absolute joy whilst watching a good film. Yesterday's theme was submarine disasters. How cheerful. Today I'm going to find something a little bit more cheerful. Whilst leaving this, is going to go through the eel into the back after it's assembled. In fact, let's just try that now. This seems like a very, very good idea. Does it fit through the hole? Ha ha ha! Hardy, hardy, har! It doesn't. I'm so glad I tried that. Imagine if I got everything mounted on here, fixed down, full of the joys of spring, going to put this through. Right. Okay. Now the thing is, I can't actually put this into the clock body until I have fixed on these hands. So before I can do anything else, this is the sort of thing that happens, the excitement never ends. I've got to get the laptop out and program the Arduino and set this up so, as if you remember the micro switch on the hour hand, which is buried somewhere under there, I need to get it so that that clicks on just as it reaches 12. And that means that every time, every 12 hours, it's going to be reset. So even if the motor skips a bit or whatever else, it's always going to keep itself on track. Now to make the dinger. Nice new additional drawing with dimensions. Here's a piece of sprung steel. And I've now remembered what this funny little engraved part was for, because that pushes in there and will glue in. This pushes on the end of the motor that works the bell. And on this end, we have perfect solution to making a hammer for a bell. A dome nut, lovely brass M4 dome nut, with a little bit of studding left over from something else. And then you tighten it. And then it provides weight and a lovely hammering surface. Talking of bells, it's time for another Ikea clock. This, you would not believe, this is the cheapest way that I've found to get the bells. 2 for the price of 1. So all I need from this, and I do keep all the other parts for a rainy day, hopefully, well, I don't wish for rainy days, but anyway, there's 2 bells on this, obviously. They're the right size. I'll spray them up, and then that gives me enough for 2 machines. But it's a pain. I've spent hours, literally an hour, hunched over a hot computer, Googling places that I can possibly get one of these. A bell, a pressed steel. It's so simple. Learning is fun, although I have to say, I'm doing an awful lot of learning at the moment. Now, I've connected this up, as always, yes, I've got the 5 volt stabilised supply running all the bits and pieces, switched on before I plug in the Arduino Mega to my laptop, because otherwise all the stepper motors, servo motor, whatever, are all trying to run off this 5 volt supply, which can damage things. What's it going to do? Oh, motor started up. So it's moving away from the magnet, And look at that. And the window flicker. Oh, look. Oh, that's so exciting. It really is. And that window is working beautifully. Oh, I'm so pleased. I know it's one function it's doing at the moment, but I am absolutely thrilled that I'm sort of remembering and starting to understand how this all works. Right, let's get that tightened up, double checked, and I'm going to do the same with the hour hand that's decided to take itself on holiday somewhere under there. Now to try the hour stepper, and look, haha, having run it and compiled it without, it is commented out forevermore with a bit of luck. Okay, let's upload that because it's now going to calibrate minute stepper, then calibrate hour stepper with nothing else underneath at the time being because my brain can't cope with too much. Right, back to the clock face. What's going to happen? It should do the minute one. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that lovely as it slows down at the end? It's the Excel stepper library. It's just nice. Right, so that's that. Lovely. Oh, look, it's moved off the switch. There's the switch. Now I can adjust this. Fantastic. And it's so nice. This little gem in the middle fits in there, hides the screw. Lovely, I'll get that fixed down. Oh, and it's faded up too. Oh, I think I need to sit down. How fantastic. When you do things like this, especially single-handed, you always, yeah, look, suddenly there's a little white bit that's appeared from nowhere. You remember before I was saying about having this edge on here when I sprayed it, because otherwise every time I load the glass in, spotlessly clean, the glass would scrape some of the paint off from inside this rebate, and you just, oh. Anyway, I'll get back to you because I can now get this fitted into, well, I'll pick out that bit of white floof and then get this fitted into the outer clock housing. That's what I'm talking about. 6th go, because every time I got it together a little bit of speck of dust or dirt or something would have appeared, but this time nothing. Nice, and it's all sealed in now with those lovely clips at the back. Said he about to scratch it all up. There we are. So there's the little wire prong clips. Just holds it together beautifully. And that's lovely because now I can finally start putting it onto there. And stop filming my finger. It also means that now I've got the hands in the right place, I can just reach in the back, plug the laptop into here and then do all the programming after it's all together. I was about to start screwing things down and then noticed that the router as it had gone round had left a mark. Oh, quality control, sanding it down for the second or third times and letting it dry, or re-staining it and letting it dry in the lovely warm sun. So, in the meanwhile, while I'm watching paint dry, I've measured, done double checks of all the lengths of copper bits, and got them all cut up. So these are the 15mm plumbing fittings that I need. Lovely. But then we've got this bit. Search as I might, I find no reference, notes or anything to this. So I've got to rely on the old grey matter. I have a vague memory of using one of these metal drums, aluminium or steel drums that I got. This little part fits together to make some sort of sheet metal bender, which I've never really used. But I seem to remember it's the right size to bend this really malleable, soft copper 6.5mm it is, so what's that, 1/4 of an inch I expect, round this, and then to shape it. We'll give it a go and I'll get back to you. Well, that's not too bad. Very pleased with that. It's malleable, which means it work hardens, so you can't keep bending it, because every time you bend it, it gets harder and harder and harder. You could always heat it up with a blowtorch and let it cool down slowly, but I can't be bothered. Just be careful. That looks lovely. So that bit fits onto there, and this bit fits onto there. This is all going very well. It's all got it lined up, got that pushed on. Change the plans a bit so it fits better, and it lines up perfectly with the 5 marked holes. It's always important just to double check. So I take this off and then drill the rebates with a lovely Forstner bit for the labels, the engraved laser labels that show the different functions. I've got the holes drilled and glued these in. It is so simple with a piece of sellotape. Otherwise, you're not sure whether it's going to be lined up if you use blue tack. Bit of sellotape, put some glue in the L, you could just line it up and then hold it down while you peel the sellotape off. It's one of those things that, until you think of it, it's such a difficult job to do. And it's now so simple. Right, we can start screwing things down now, which is very exciting. These little hex things are spacers are so useful. And they're lovely and shiny. This one is for the bell.